I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I want to start by saying that what I'm going to be talking to you about today are key macro trends that you need to leverage now. And before I start, I think it's very important that I tell you a couple of things. Number one is, there's going to be a few of these that you may know. I promise you that there's going to be a few that you don't know. And I promise you also that some of this you might find quite provocative. You might do a lot of thinking on this, and some of the material may even make you uncomfortable. Some of it you might not like. That's okay. Your job is not to like things. Your job is to keep your finger on the pulse of what's going on in the world around you. How can you best serve your members and your community if you don't know what's going on? And business is not about dealing with the world the way you want the world to be. It's about dealing with the world the way the world is. Would you agree? All right. So with that said, I'm giving you permission to be uncomfortable or, just think like, wow, this is crazy. I've never seen these kinds of changes in my life. It's true. It's true for all of us. So with that, I'm going to get started here. So the first thing is the census has been tracking diversity in the United States for the last several decades. And all this means on the diversity index is if I grab any two people at random anywhere in the United States, what's the likelihood that those two people would be of different races or ethnicities? So as you can see, in 1980, if I grabbed any two people at random anywhere, I had a 34% probability that those two people were going to be of different races or ethnicities. Or in other words, I had a 66% probability that they were going to be of the same race, probably white. But look how fast it's changed. In just 3 decades, we've gone from a 34% probability to a 52% probability. And the forecast for next year, when the census comes out, is that we're going to be at 65. So by next year, just a few months from now, the likelihood that any two people grabbed at random anywhere in the United States will be of different races or ethnicities is 65%. So not only are we becoming more diverse, we're becoming more diverse more quickly. This is not a fad, this is a trend. The difference between a fad and a trend is fads come and go, like fashion. Trends don't come and go. Trends are shifts, and this is a very clear shift. So that concludes my presentation. Thank you. Now, we're not just changing demographically and racially and ethnically. We're changing in every way. Politically, socially, fiscally, increasingly with a shrinking middle class, and religiously. But I don't like to talk about diversity in those terms. I like to talk about diversity in a broader way. People not like you. Because in my definition of diversity, it's any way you can be different from me. It's not just race, ethnicity, age, gender, things like that. So here's some ways that you might not have really thought about diversity, and especially when it comes to serving your members or working with people in your co-ops. How about introverts versus extroverts? Okay, I'm an extrovert. Can you tell? My husband is an introvert in the extreme. He hates people. I'm not kidding. Seriously, like the doorbell rings and he's like, can you answer the door? He would totally be a hermit if I let him. We're very, very, very different that way. How about creative versus analytic thinking? Right? So an engineer or even a technician thinks very differently than someone who's a graphic designer. How about morning people versus night owls? Let me see the morning people. Let me see the night owls. Ah, you night owls, I got to tell you, I feel sorry for you. And here's why. Wouldn't you agree that the business world and the working world is not set up for you, right? Like meetings and conference calls start at 8, and you're like, we don't get rolling until 11. Yeah. Regional differences, and who would know this better than you? There's no doubt in my mind, and I'm sure you agree, that the North is different from the South, the East Coast is different from the West Coast. Rural versus metro. Enough said. And communication styles. Some people want to be able to come into the co-op and talk to somebody in person. Other people would say, like, why can't I just do this all online? Some people want to have a face-to-face meeting with you. Other people would be like, just text me. And one of my favorites, I was doing this presentation one time, and this guy yells out from the audience. He goes, I got one for your list. I said, what's that? And he goes, Apple people versus Google people, right? We are very different. We are very different. So diversity comes in all kinds of shapes and sizes. So the first trend I want to talk about is that companies are getting real, and they're actually becoming more brave. I'm a marketing person by training, and in my lifetime, I've seen a very big shift in marketing. It used to be back in the day when I had just started in my career, that marketing was always about don't rock the boat. Don't ever court controversy. Don't ever do anything that someone might object to. Play it safe. Well, today what companies are realizing is that when they show us the real, when they show us us as we really are, we respond. So because people do want to see the real. So here's a couple of examples. Cheerios is the #1 selling cereal in the United States. So I don't know if any of you saw the television ad that Cheerios did about a year ago with an interracial couple. If you didn't see it, it went like this. White mom, black dad, adorable little girl. And the little girl says, "Mommy, why do we eat Cheerios?" And Mommy says, "Because it's good for Daddy's heart." And then the little girl goes into the living room where Daddy's napping on the couch. She takes the box of Cheerios and she pours the whole box on his chest because it's good for his heart. Never once did they make a big deal about the fact that it was an interracial family. They were just showing a family. Speaking of families, Honey Maid, the nation's only graham cracker. Have you ever thought about it? I don't think they have any competition. Anyway, they're the only graham cracker, and Honey Maid has been doing a campaign that features no actors, no models, nothing but real people and real families. And their tagline is, "A wholesome snack for all wholesome families." And they show all different kinds of family constructs, every kind of family construct you could imagine. And one of the families that they show is a gay couple with children, wholesome dadvertising from Honey Maid. Companies are realizing that when they show us the real, it actually drives business. It doesn't make people go away. It actually drives business towards us. So fun fact, 40% of people between the ages of 18 and 35 have 4 or more tattoos. Not a tattoo, 4 or more. So again, if people gravitate to images that look like them, then why aren't we seeing more of that? Well, we're starting to. Here's a bank in Philadelphia, and this is one of their billboards, and they have a very urban city center footprint. So it makes sense that their customers and their prospects are young, single, urban, professional, city-dwelling people. So it makes sense that this woman has kind of a cool, edgy haircut. But look at her left arm. She has an entire sleeve of ink. And this is their business-to-business marketing. And it features real small business owners that they've actually loaned money to. This is a woman, I think she owns a bakery, and she's showing her ink as well. My point is this is a bank. Banking is a pretty conservative industry. No one does anything that doesn't work. So they're doing this because it actually is working. CoverGirl embraces diverse beauty. CoverGirl now has their first Muslim model. Because if you're an observant Muslim woman, then you cover your hair. And if you cover your hair, then when I look at you, all of the emphasis is on your eyes and lips. And fashion-forward Muslim women want to look just as attractive as anyone else. And get ready, they now also have their first cover boy. And he's wearing a lot of makeup. So, I mean, this is obviously a pretty extreme example, but the point is they've actually discovered that there's a market for men for makeup. I know, it's a lot. It's a lot. I want this guy to come over and do my eyeshadow every morning, yeah. And CVS is now banning photoshopping in their beauty ads. I think this is an absolutely great idea. We don't need to have everything photoshopped because people don't really walk around looking photoshopped. We look like we look. So no longer are you going to see this airbrushed perfection. You're now going to actually get to see this woman for the hideous, hideous woman that she actually is. I know, it's like, what's the difference, right? This guy actually came up to me after my presentation one time and he goes, I can't tell the difference between these two pictures. So let's take a look real quick. On the left, which is the photoshopped image, they've taken some of the hair off the back of her neck, and they've also taken these tiny little moles off her cheeks, and then they erased entirely the tiny, tiny, tiny fine lines that she had around her eyes and her mouth, because we certainly wouldn't want to ever look like we'd laughed or smiled. That's hugely unattractive, as you know. My point is she's a beautiful woman, and I don't think she needs any photoshopping at all. Personally, I would kill to look like that for 1 hour. Barbie gets real for the first time. Are there any Barbie girls in the audience, people who played with Barbie? Okay, say it loud, say it proud. I was just a maniacal Barbie girl when I was a little girl. And for those of you who played with Barbie, you know that Barbies always looked like this. Or for those of you who have daughters and you bought Barbie dolls, she's always looked like this. Well, Barbie finally has changed. It took 5 decades, but they finally came out with a curvy Barbie. Now, personally, I don't think she looks that curvy. I think she just looks kind of normal. But it's a start. And a lot of people think that curvy Barbie didn't go far enough. They're like, that's not still really how women really look. But I think we ought to give Mattel their props because it is a start. So to show you how far they've come, I mean, the first change to Barbie in like 50 years. Let me take you back to 1965 Slumber Party Barbie. For those of you who raised your hands and said you played with Barbies, then you know what I'm going to be talking about, which is most Barbies are themed. Okay, because Barbies that are themed come with lots of specific different accessories, and that's where the money is. So, for example, I had like Dr. Barbie and then Malibu Barbie, and she came with like a little convertible and stuff. So Slumber Party Barbie came in a box like this, and Slumber Party Barbie came with certain accessories that little girls would like for a slumber party, like a bathrobe and slippers and a hairbrush, and weirdly, a scale. Yeah, a scale that was set to 110 pounds. I don't know anybody who weighs 110 pounds, and if you do, I don't really want to hear about it, okay? But I think this is a pretty unrealistic weight for women. Would you not agree? Pretty unrealistic weight. So if you couldn't weigh 110, and most of us can't, if you couldn't weigh 110, they were kind enough to also include this little book called How to Lose Weight, and the book had one page, and the page was called Don't Eat. So I know, this is outrageous. It's truly outrageous. I'm just trying to show you that with Curvy Barbie, it's a start, because this is where we came from. Brawny salutes strong women. So we all know the brawny paper towel guy. He's strong and he's beefy, right? But brawny has finally recognized, why should the attribute of strength only belong to men? Don't we all know strong women too? So now they have the brawny paper towel woman and an entire campaign behind it called Strength Has No Gender. Who's your Shiro? The new Gerber baby is real and irresistible. So this is kind of like the Mattel thing, where it only took Gerber like 5 or 6 decades to fix this. But for the longest time, the Gerber baby wasn't even a baby. It was just an illustration. And I don't know about you, but I don't actually even think this baby looks that happy. I think this baby looks alarmed. I mean, I would at least put a happy baby out there, right? But so finally they were like, you know what? Maybe we should actually show a human being as our baby. You know, let's put a cute baby out there as our spokesbaby. So last year, they got this little guy as the... I know. Isn't he adorable? He's adorable. And he also has Down syndrome. So good for Gerbers for showing us a group of people who are largely underrepresented in major marketing campaigns. In fact, this guy was so well received. People just, you know, their hearts just opened when they saw him, that they were, you know, the Gerber said, we can't just do this once and have like one cute baby. Let's have a new spokesbaby every year. So the 2019 spokesbaby also marks another first, and this is her. Her name is Carrie Yang, and she's of Hmong descent. So she beat out 544,000 other cute babies, and the Gerber executives said that they chose her, and I quote, for her wondrous eyes. So there she is. Target ads feature kids with Down syndrome. Target makes their primary profit 2 ways: children's clothing and children's toys. Don't all children wear clothing? Don't all children play with toys? What I think is kind of cool is in my lifetime, I've seen a big shift on this, because in my lifetime, there was a time when children like this were hidden away. Children with disabilities were not put front and center. But today, we don't hide anybody away. We celebrate all people and all children. So trend number 2 is to give people what they want. Give people what they want. Macys is, and so there's examples of major companies that are giving people what they want. Macys is the largest department store that we have in the United States. Even Macys doesn't sell the same stuff everywhere. If you go to Salt Lake City and you go to Macys, you're going to find a larger selection of large, oversized cookware. Why? Because Salt Lake City is home to the largest Mormon population, and a key tenet of Mormonism is not just larger family sizes, it is, but also eating family meals together. So if you have a family of 6 or 7, it's going to be a whole lot easier to make scrambled eggs in a large, oversized skillet than a small one. If you go to Atlanta, which is home to the largest black population in the United States and one of the most devout church-going populations, you will find a larger selection of women's church hats, because many black women choose to wear church hats to church. So while Macys sells church hats everywhere, you'll find a larger selection of them in Atlanta. And if you go to Seattle, which is home to the largest Asian population in the United States, you will find a larger selection of both men and women's clothing in smaller sizes as a whole, particularly on the inseam. Even Burger King adjusts its menu. Just a quick aside, I did the Burger King franchisee meeting last year, and they thought it was hilarious that my last name is McDonald. They're like, we got Kelly McDonald at Burger King. And I'm like, no relationship, dudes. Yeah. So even Burger King doesn't sell the same stuff everywhere. If you go to New York City, their breakfast sandwich is served on a bagel. In Birmingham, that same sandwich is served on a biscuit. So you start to see how even large and global companies just tweak their products or services to give people what they want. So let me share with you what women want and what men want, and how to work with women more effectively and work with men. So these are 2 life-changing slides. If you drifted, this is a really good time to come back, okay? This is going to change your world. Yeah. Working with women. Women value expansive options. We like seeing all of our choices. We are not overwhelmed when we're given lots of choices. We're actually empowered. We feel good about having lots of options. I can look at 175 different colors of blouses, and I know I want the tangerine one, and I know it because I looked at all 175. That's the one I want. Men, on the other hand, want their choices simplified. I'm sorry, you guys, but there's a reason your clothes only come in 3 colors, okay? Black, navy, khaki. Look at you. Seriously, look at you. There's like a little shot of color here and there, but most of you are in a sea of black, navy, and khaki, right? So, fun fact, the magic number for men is 3. 2 is not enough choice. 4 is way too much. Don't overwhelm a guy, all right? So, men buy more electronics than any other consumer group. More flat screens, more cameras, more tablets, more phones, more stuff. You guys like electronics. Haven't you ever noticed that when you go shopping for electronics, or if you haven't, you will as we go into the holidays right now, all the marketing that you ever see for electronics is done in groups of 3. Even stuff that's not electronics, that's heavily marketed to men like tires, is done in groups of 3. Why? Because it works. So here's how you might use this at your co-op. I mean, if you're working with, let's say, a woman, and you might say, here's all the different ways that we can save you energy and save you money on energy. Here's all the different things that you can do. She'll eat that up. And with a guy, you might say, the 3 best energy-saving tips that we can give you are this. Right? With a guy who wants the 3, you can always give him more information if he wants it, but start with 3. Now, you can also use this in your personal life. I use this to manage my husband very differently than I did before. So I want to share with you how I manage him now, and then maybe you can use this in your life too. So this is what it's like at my house on a Friday night. I have to act this out. We both work. So by the time Friday night rolls around, we're done. We're like tired, we're exhausted, we metaphorically have no gas in the tank. So this is what it's like at my house on a Friday night. You tell me if you can relate. I got to get the body language right. What do you want to do about dinner? I don't care. What do you want to do? I don't care. Do you want to go out or do you want to stay in? I don't care. Do you want to go out or do you want to stay in? If we went out, where would we go? I have no idea. If we stayed in, what would we have? I don't know. Do we even have anything here? Right? Yeah. Yeah, so this used to go round and round for like 10 minutes, and then we'd have a fight. So, right, because when you're tired and hungry, bad things happen, right? So once I learned this, I actually took matters into my own hands. I didn't do this anymore. I go to him now on Friday nights, and I go, Thai, Mexican, or burgers on the grill? And he's like, burgers on the grill. Done. You're welcome. Yeah, you may not remember me, but you're going to remember that for the rest of your life. How to make it ever easier at home. All right, so in terms of 3, let's look at a couple of examples here. I mean, here's Tri-County Electric Cooperative, and they're giving 3 choices right there. All right, so this is how you can use this information. All kidding aside, this is valuable information and it works. So here's an example. And here's trend number 3, millennials eclipse boomers in 2019. This just happened this year. So for decades, the largest population that we've had has been the baby boomer population. Well, not so anymore. So this is a chart, and I realize it's a little, the lines are a little light colored or whatever, but the boomer line is the turquoise line that's going down, okay? And then the millennial line is the gold line going up there. And so you can see that the intersection, the bisection of these two lines was this year. So now the boomer line is going to continue to go down because, frankly, we're starting to die off. And the millennials is going to continue to grow. So this is a real thing that's happening, is that the millennial population is not just something that you've heard about in the abstract or whatever. This is now the largest population in the United States. And millennials prefer pets over people. So this is important for you to know, these kind of consumer insights. It's like one of the things that you can do is on your websites is, show images of people with their pets and share how, you can make your home more energy friendly for your pets, etc. They'd also rather join a cause than a club. Now, the difference between a cause and a club is clubs exclude people, right? So because think about a country club. You're either a member or you're not. You can either play golf there or you can't. But causes include people. Causes bring people together. So if you're supporting causes at your cooperative, it's very important that you share with your public and your community what those causes are. Because millennials will find them, so will all the rest of us. But millennials put a lot of stock in this. They want to see your soul. Trend number 4, marketing that taps into values. The other rule in marketing is that people spend money on what they value. That's a truism, always has been, always will be. People spend money on what they value. So what we have to do is start showing what you value, what your co-ops value, and play that into consumer insights. So a consumer insight here is, here's what women want. Women value testimonials and customer reviews online. Women do more research online than any other group, and they spend more time doing research. One of the things that they really love are customer reviews, or in your case, member reviews and testimonials. So if you have happy, satisfied members, you're going to want to get testimonials and put those online about how your co-op helped them manage their energy needs, etc. And women trust what other women say, even women we don't know. We just put a lot of stock in what other women say. Here's what millennials want. Millennials want information that doesn't make me feel stupid. So this is an example of a financial services ad, but it's very, very respectful. And it lets people know, like, okay, if you need help with budgeting and some basics, we've got you. It's marketed to millennials. They know that they don't know a lot, and especially about things like energy and what they can do better to manage their energy and be good green citizens, etc. So what you can do is play into that and give them information, but give it in a respectful way that doesn't make them feel stupid. I mean, nobody likes to feel stupid, but this is a generation that has had the answer to everything at their fingertips all of their lives. So they feel uneasy when they don't know things. Now, NRECA has a specific initiative called Yammy, that is the Young Adult Member Engagement. And you're going to hear more about this in depth tomorrow from Scott. But there are a ton of resources that NRECA has for you so that you can engage young members in meaningful ways. And again, you're going to hear more about that tomorrow. So here's an example of, this is not a co-op, but nevertheless, it is a utility company, Nipsco in northern Indiana. And in terms of showing their values, they do a great job right here on their homepage of talking about their commitment to northern Indiana in the areas of the economy, the local economy, customers, and the environment. They put their 3 priorities right out there. These are the things that are our values: economy, customers, and the environment. So if you have your values and they're clear, then put those out there on your website. And green matters. Green matters to everybody, but especially in your industry, it's the heart of your industry. So 50% of consumers say that they want more green choices, and 37% say that they're more likely to pay attention to the brands and companies that are committed to the environment. This is you. This is your house. This is where you live. So it really, really matters. So here's an example. Farmers Electric Co-op makes green easy. They have an entire page of just all these different ways that you can click on and learn more about how to be more green, more energy efficient. And there's tons and tons of ways. Now, you're going to get copies of this presentation, so you can actually go and check out these websites and see how other cooperatives do it. Trend number 5, be the good guys. You're already the good guys. I believe you're already the good guys. You are the heart and soul of your communities, and you provide energy, and you also provide education. But you need to let people know that you're the good guys. So here's an example, and this is Grand Valley, and they are showing right there a woman who is getting her head shaved in solidarity for someone who is actually going through cancer treatment. So in Grand Valley, which is in Grand Junction, Colorado, doing good is the new cool, right? Doing good is the new cool. So here's another example. On their webpage, you can find all the different things that they're doing to support their community, big and small. So again, these are things that you can put on your website. They don't cost a lot of money to do these things, and you're probably already doing these things. You just need to let people know. In Blue Bonnet, a cooperative in Bastrop, Texas, has community front and center. You see my little circle there. Right there, along with all the other options on their website, the smack dab in the middle is community. When you click on that, it also shows that their commitment to the community is #1. But when you click on that, they get specific, and I really, really like this. They talk about their scholarships. I mean, what does their commitment to community actually mean? It means scholarships. It means that they have 5 community representatives in the community working to answer questions, and they do outreach. They're very, very clear about what specifically that means to be a good community member. Trend number 6. Solutions, not excuses. Anybody here ever remodel any part of their home or their garage ever? Show of hands, let's see it. Isn't it painful? It's the worst. It's the worst. Everything costs more than you think it's going to cost. Everything takes longer. I think that's just the nature of that industry. And meanwhile, your whole house is torn up, your life is completely disrupted, and you're convinced that nothing is ever going to be clean again. It's just the nature of that industry. I did my master bath and my kitchen at the same time. That was insanity. But I had the world's greatest contractor. And the reason he was the world's greatest contractor is that whenever I pointed out something that went wrong, and there were a million things, because again, I think that's just the nature of that industry. A million things that went wrong. He said the only 5 words that I care about, the only 5 words that you care about, and the only 5 words that anybody cares about. And those 5 words are, we'll take care of it. We'll take care of it. Because everything else is an excuse or an explanation. And at the end of the day, members and consumers don't want explanations, they just want solutions. So when things go wrong at the co-op, things happen, people make mistakes, whatever. Jump right to the solution and say, that's not our way, we dropped the ball, we're going to take care of it. That's what people want to hear. And then for crying out loud, if you say those words and you teach your people to say those words, then for crying out loud, do it. You have to do it. You can't say, we'll take care of it, and then drop the ball again. That's not good, right? But we'll take care of it will absolutely diffuse any situation. People want solutions, not explanations or excuses. Trend number 7, shorter is better and simple is awesome. How many of you are sitting around on any given day going, I really wish I had more to do? Right? Now, we're all completely slammed. There's not enough hours in the day. We're doing the best we can. We're running as hard as we can. Shorter is better and simple is awesome. So make it easy. Make things easy for your members. Fast, simple, clear, easy, not clunky. It's no longer a do-it-yourself world. It is absolutely a do-it-myself world. I want to just be able to get the information I need without having to talk to anybody or call anyone, etc. I just want to be able to access information. And this is especially true of millennials. So here's a really great example. Enterstar in Paris, Illinois makes it easy. Look at that. Whoops, I'm sorry, right there. No fuss solar energy right here. No fuss solar energy. They're absolutely playing to the dynamic of like, I want to be the good guy. I want to just go ahead and get some solar going. How do I do that without wrecking my life? Let me just make it simple. And nobody reads anymore, we skim, right? We do, in fact, skim. So nobody wants your big, long, honkin', rambling email, all right? Nobody wants that, all right? What do you do? What do you do, in fact, when you receive some big, long, rambling email? What do you do? Delete it. This person said close it. Yeah, you close it because you tell yourself, I'm going to read that later. No, you're not. You're not. Because you tell yourself, I'm going to read that later when I have more time. You're not going to ever have more time. And now that you know what that looks like, you really don't want to read it, right? Because would you rather read this or would you rather read this? White space and bullet points are your friends. This is the same email. White space and bullet points are your friends. All right? So white space and bullet points allow me to skim through and find what it is I want you to do or what I want you to know immediately. The only 2 reasons that we send an email, I want you to know something or I want you to do something. So if you're going to take the time to compose a thoughtful email to somebody, don't you want them to read it? White space and bullet points are your friends. In fact, our language evolves to reflect the world that we live in and the way that we live. So we've all adopted little acronyms that make communication, especially texting and emailing, a little faster and easier, like LOL, BRB, TTYL. I don't know if you've seen this one. It's kind of new. Too long, didn't read. Yeah. Right. So the next time you send one of your big, long, honking, rambling emails, just don't be surprised if somebody sends back TLDR, all right? They don't want to read it. White space and bullet points. Trend number 8, mass is out and customization is in. This is a major, major trend. All kidding aside about McDonald's, I want you to watch McDonald's because they rarely mess up. They are so big and so global, and their resources are so deep that when they roll something out, it's been pretty fully vetted. It's going to work. They don't really have a lot of risk there. So they have built their entire company on speed, efficiency, and mass. Well, now they're actually going to kiosks where customers can actually order exactly what they want and get their sandwich customized. They can pick their bread, pick their protein, pick their toppings, and essentially make an entirely gourmet burger. All right? And customization isn't just cool. We all want the stuff that we want exactly the way we want it. And once you have customization, you really can't go back to mass. But it's not just cool, it lifts business. Soft drinks in the United States have been on a steady 7-year decline. 7 years of going down. We're not drinking more soft drinks, we're drinking more water. So soft drinks have been hit hard until Coke came out with the names campaign. Who doesn't want to see their name on a can of Coke? We all do. And what happened is they started with what I would call traditional American names. Michael and David and Sarah and Jessica. And then what happened was something that they didn't expect. People started responding and contacting Coke and saying, I want to see my name on a can of Coke, but I never do. I never see my name because my name is Julia, spelled Giulia. Or my name is Arav, Aarav. I never see my name on a can of Coke. I sure wish I had one. And what's Coke going to do? Go, sorry, this is just for the Michaels and Davids and Jessicas. No, of course not. They're going to be inclusive. So they were like, send us your name. Send us your name, we'll make you a can of Coke. No matter what your name is, we will make sure you have a can of Coke. Send us your name. So if your name is Bort, there's a can. Yeah. And then they started to actually have some fun with it. They started to foster this. They realized they had a tiger by the tail, and so they started a campaign called What's Your Name? Look in the middle of this and then look to the left. How many different ways there are to spell Abby? A-B-B-Y, A-B-B-I-E, A-B-B-E-Y, A-B-B-I. There's a million ways to spell anybody's name. So then they started really showing a sense of humor with it, and this was their holiday campaign last year, right? Donner, Prancer, Dancer, yeah. And then if this one doesn't move you, you have no soul. Because shouldn't everybody be able to read their name on a can of Coke? Here's what's cool, though. This is cool, but my business premise here was customization lifts business. For the first time in 7 years, Coke sales not only halted their decline, they reversed it. And nothing else changed. The product in that can did not change. It's the same old Coke. The distribution did not change, and the pricing did not change. The only thing that changed was the can, the customization. And it was enough to halt and reverse a 7-year decline. So here's how Florida Power and Light does Energy My Way. Now, they are not a cooperative, but nevertheless, they're a utility, and they're just right there. It's Energy My Way. They have an entire program called Energy My Way. So people can get their energy needs and their information customized. Trend number 9, social is everything. And I'm not just talking about social media. We know that. I'm talking about our desire to stay socially connected under all circumstances. So is there anything in the whole world that is actually less social than doing business with a vending machine? No. Right? You go up, you put your money in, you press a button, it dispenses something. Right? There's no human interaction involved. Well, Pepsi is now trying to change that with what they call the Pepsi Social Vending Unit. And it goes like this. I go up, I swipe, I put my $2 in, I get my Diet Pepsi, and the next question that it asks is, do you want to send your friend a gift? Totally! What a great idea! I want to send my friend a gift. For sure I do. What's your name? Curtis? I'm going to call you Mike. So, Curtis and I are friends. I am totally going to let Curtis know I'm thinking about him. I know you're having a long week, Curtis. I'm going to send you a little Kelly love through the Pepsi social vending unit. And because we're friends, I have his number in my phone. I'll spend $2 on Curtis. I swipe. I put his phone number into the Pepsi social vending unit, and shazam, he gets a text that says, "Hi, Curtis. Kelly sent you a gift. Use this code to redeem at the nearest Pepsi social vending unit." How cool is that? So this is actually an awesome surprise and delight, because I was just going to go get myself a drink, and I was given a fun way to do something nice for my friend. It's also a surprise and delight for Curtis, because he was going to just be sitting in some boring meeting somewhere, and he gets a cool, invitation under the table to have a drink on me. Curtis, I'm waiting for them to come up with the margarita machine. Right? Kelly sent you a drink. All right. New products also meet this demand for connectivity, because we really want to stay connected. So I want you to think about the umbrella that's probably in your car, or the umbrella you have in your home. Think about what the shape of that umbrella looks like when it's open. You have a handle, and then you have the canvas, right? What does that umbrella look like? The design of the umbrella hasn't changed in hundreds of years. Literally, it hasn't changed one bit. It's one of those weird products that is perfect the way it is, until now. Now we have this. What do you need that for? So you can do this, right? Because Lord knows I am not going to stop texting Curtis just because it's raining. And if you've ever tried to actually do that, hold the phone, hold the umbrella, walk, text. It's kind of hard. This makes it easier. This is an absolute trend. Trends, not fads. Don't pay attention to fads. You can't. Pay attention to trends. Here's another one. Selfies. Selfies. We all take them, and things like selfie sticks, you think they're dorky until you actually look at how amazing your selfies look, right? So we all take selfies. Why do we take selfies? Selfies might be a fad, but the trend behind it is sharing. Because we don't just take selfies of ourselves and look at ourselves and go, "I'm so hot." No, we don't do that. What we do is we take selfies and we say, "Hey, here I am with Curtis at the NRECA Regional Convention," and we send it over to you, "Wish you were here," and we post it on Instagram and Facebook. We share. The reason we take selfies is to actually share our lives and our activities with the people that we love and the people that we care about. And once you start sharing, you're never going to unshare, right? So I thought this year's Super Bowl halftime show with Adam Levine and Maroon 5 was super lame. Can I say that? Super lame. But I thought last year's show with Justin Timberlake was amazing, because he went into the audience and people got selfies with him. And this kid is 13 years old, and he is from Maine, and he got a selfie with Justin Timberlake. I'm going to ask you one question here. Do you think he shared that out? I'm going to say yes. If you got a selfie with JT, you're sharing that out, okay? And if you have a need for a little bit more proof about how imperative selfies are, then let me give you the nation's first selfie statue. And this is outside of Houston in a town called Sugarland, all right? So when you have a selfie statue, that's absolutely not a fad. That's a trend. Lastly, helping beats selling. You know this. If you help me, you're going to sell me. And if you help me, you don't have to sell me. And what you have is information that people want. Okay? But they don't just want information, they want your guidance. One young guy in a focus group said, we don't need any more information. There's this thing called the internet. All the information in the world is out there. What we need is advice. And that's really, I think, the business that you're in. A key part of the business that you're in is actually helping people understand what they need and advising them and guiding them through ways that they can be more energy efficient and ways that they can work more closely with their cooperative and their community. Helping beats selling. So specifically, has this been helpful? Has this been helpful? All right, well, I've been talking for a long time. I want actually I want to give you an interactive exercise right now, and don't take too long. We only have a few minutes, so don't dilly-dally. I want you to turn to the person next to you. If you haven't met them, say hello, make a friend, and talk about one thing, just one thing that you've learned here today that you can go back and apply to your role, and there's no right or wrong. Go. You have 3 minutes. This is the last thing I'm going to teach you. I think it's kind of cool. It was an audiovisual sound guy who taught me this. If you're all talking and then it gets loud in here like it did, and then I try to talk over you and go, okay, people, let's pull it together, right? You can't hear me because my voice is at the same frequency as yours. But if I go, shh, you can hear that above all else. So the next time you're having a meeting and your people are running wild, all right, and you want to pull them together, just try that. Yeah, okay. So who wants to start? There's no right or wrong. You're all leaders. Lead by example here. Somebody stick their hand up and tell me what you talked about. All right. Hang on. I have a microphone. And if you wouldn't mind, say who you are and who you're with.
Jason Siegfried, Southern Pine Electric, and me and Mr. Keith Hayward right here just said white space and bullet points.
White space and bullet points. Give it up for Jason. Right. Yes. White space and bullet points. Don't be that person who sends those big, long, rambling emails, or I'm going to send you back TLDR. Yeah. Somebody over here. Who else had something? There's no right or wrong, people. You're leaders. This is a time to lead. Right now. Up. Have you been vol-appointed? Say who you are and who you're with.
I'm Carol Wright with Jackson Energy Cooperative, and my director from Jackson Energy Cooperative did the finger point.
Yes, but what is it that you talked about?
We talked about the differences between men and women and how women think differently than men and how we can use that for our members in conversations that we have on the phone or on our social media, on our website.
So what are you going to do specifically? What are you going to do for men?
What are we going to do? It's 3 choices.
3, right? And what are you going to do for women?
As many choices as we have.
Everything. Give it up for Carol. Awesome. All right. We have somebody there. Now, if you wouldn't mind, sir, in the blue shirt, say who you are and who you're with.
Bill Webb and Johnny Ruthell, Rob Murray with the Lewis Electric Cooperative in Tennessee. We'll take care of it.
We'll take care of it, right? Give it up for Bill. Thank you. It's all anybody wants to hear, Bill. It's all anybody wants to hear. Everything else is an excuse or an explanation, and people really don't care. They just want to know you're going to take care of it. I haven't heard from anybody on this side. Let's talk over here. Someone put their hand up. Seriously, people, you're at a conference because you're leaders. Come on. Up. Okay, and then I need to hear from somebody over here. Don't be the shy group. All right, who's this? Mr. Plaid? You're in Plaid. Say who you are. Yeah, now he's going to be, the whole rest of the conference, he's going to be known as Mr. Plaid. Say who you are and who you're with.
I'm Mike Beckworth. I'm with Washington EMC in Sandersville, Georgia. I was talking with LaShawn here. We need to welcome the pets and hug the millennials.
We need to welcome pets and hug the millennials. That's right. All right, give it up for Mike. Absolutely. Absolutely. I live in Denver, Colorado, which is the most dog-friendly place I've ever seen in my entire life. I mean, if you don't have a dog, you're just not part of the community. Every single business in Denver, Colorado has an open dog policy. Like, they can come in, they can do whatever. I mean, people don't leave their pets at home anymore, not even for a little while. They take them everywhere. So I need to hear from somebody over here. Thank you, Mike. What about somebody over here? Come on. Seriously, all the shy people got together and sat in one place? Okay, I'm coming over to you. Hang on. Say who you are and who you're with, and then we're going to wrap this up.
Gloria Osteen, Middle Tennessee Electric. We were talking about millennials and how we need to interact more with them since they're going to be the majority.
They already are the majority, right? So absolutely. Give it up for Gloria. And Gloria, you're in good hands. You're in very good hands here because NRECA is going to go through a very extensive deep dive on Yammy, the Young Adult Member Engagement Program, tomorrow. So you're going to hear more about that. Thank you for your participation, and I just want to wrap up real quick with a summary slide. 5 things that I think you can do and remember. Now, this is a building slide. I've seen some of you take pictures throughout. If you want to just wait and not take 5 pictures, you just take 1. Just wait. Okay. So show people as they really are. Show people as they really are. In your marketing messages and on your website, use the images that reflect the way that people really are today. Because people want authentic, not necessarily perfection. And adapt to others and their differences and try to give people what they want. So as we just mentioned, women like expansive choices and men tend to like their options narrowed to 3. Give people what they want. Shorter, faster, easier is always better. And shorten all of your emails. That's one thing that you can do immediately. Doing good is the new cool. So tout your community good deeds and all the community support you do. Put it front and center. I gave you some examples of other co-ops that do that. It's really important. People don't just want your products and services, they want to see your soul. And examine your business for any way that you can actually allow people to customize their experiences and share it out. Foster that, because people are going to do it anyway. So if you foster it, that'll really help. I'm just going to pause here for a minute because I do see some people taking pictures of this slide. This is your little to-do list. And none of these things cost any money, and none of them take a long time to get going. These are simple, no-cost action items that you can do. So I just want to make sure everybody's got what they want. I see we have lots and lots of paparazzi here taking pictures. So we're just going to give 1 second here, make sure everybody gets what they need. I think we got it. Do we have it? All right. You've been a wonderful audience. I want to talk about my book, How to Work With and Lead People Not Like You. If you want a copy of my book, you can come purchase it for $20. If you've got a best-selling book and it's signed by a best-selling author, then you know that sucker's worth $1 million on eBay when you go to resell it. Thank you very much. You've been a great audience. Thank you.